Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to be discussing congruence methods. So here we have triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF, and both of those triangles are marked with congruence marks. When triangles are congruent, 6 facts are always true. The corresponding sides are congruent. AB is congruent to DE, BC is congruent to EF, CA is congruent to FD. Corresponding angles are congruent. Angle A is congruent to angle D, angle B is congruent to angle E, and angle C is congruent to angle F. One way we know both of these congruents is by lining up the letters. A, B, C, and D, E, F. A corresponds with D, B corresponds with E, C corresponds with F, and same thing goes for the sides. AB corresponds to DE, BC corresponds to EF, and CA corresponds to FD. When proving triangles congruent, it is not necessary to prove all 6 facts to show congruency. There are certain ordered combinations of these facts that are sufficient to prove triangles congruent. We are now going to discuss the 5 methods. The first method is side, 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 represented by SSS. These two triangles, triangle ABC and triangle XYZ, are congruent because all of the sides are congruent. Again, we can line up the letters ABC and XYZ to see what corresponds to what, meaning BC corresponds to YZ. AB corresponds to XY. And AC corresponds to XC. Next method is side angle side, SAS. So notice the angle is in between the two congruent sides. So again, if we line up the letters A, B, C, and X, Y, Z. So we know that BC is congruent to YZ, and we know that AC is congruent to XZ. And then the angle in between, angle C, is congruent to angle Z. For side angle side, the angle has to be in between the two sides. The next method we have is angle side angle, ASS. So the two triangles, ABC and XYZ, are congruent by angle side angle. Notice I have the side in between the two pairs of angles that are congruent. So again, let's line up the letters. So we know that angle A is congruent to angle X, and angle B is congruent to angle Y. And then the side in between are congruent. So AB is congruent to XY. So for angle side angle, the side that's congruent has to be in between the two angles. Next, we have angle angle side. So triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF by angle angle side. So notice here, the side is not in between the two angles. So again, I'm going to line up the letters A, B, C, and D, E, F. So angle A is congruent to angle D, and angle C is congruent to angle F. Then we have CB is congruent to FE. And again, notice that the side is not in between the two angles. It's here. Our last method of congruence is hypotenuse leg. If the hypotenuse and leg of one right triangle are congruent to the corresponding parts of another right triangle, then the right triangles are congruent. So in order to use hypotenuse leg, it has to be a right triangle. And notice these two triangles are right. Then the hypotenuse has to be congruent. So again, the hypotenuse is the longest side and it's across from the 90-degree angle. So let's write out the letters of the two triangles, RQS and YXZ. So we know that QS is congruent to XZ, which is the hypotenuse. Then we must have the legs be congruent. In this case, we have RS congruent to YZ. Again, in order to use hypotenuse leg, it has to be a right triangle, and the hypotenuse in both triangles have to be congruent, and legs have to be congruent. There are two methods that do not prove triangles congruent. You cannot use angle, 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 and you also can't use side, side, angle. And that's a bad word spelled backwards. These two methods do not prove triangle congruence. The only methods that we can use are side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side, and hypotenuse leg.